York's classic rock, Q1043.
Here at the Q, and we are happy to welcome Todd McFarlane to the studio. Good morning, Todd.
Hey, how are you guys doing this morning?
All right.
How can one human being, Todd McFarlane, be so accomplished in so many different areas?
A lot of dumb luck and a lot of good people around you. So, yeah, especially as a kid born in Canada, trying to sort of live the American dream, you need to catch a bunch of lucky breaks.
Well, you're a Grammy winner. You're an Emmy winner. You're a filmmaker. You're a director. You own a gigantic toy company that is the biggest manufacturer of action figures here in North America. And you're an artist. And I mean, it's incredible. And not to mention the stuff you do in your personal life. Oh, and you owned an NHL team, and in your personal life, just doing things like collecting historic baseballs and things like that.
I might have to get another one here after last night.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what do you think of that last night? It was a Texas Rangers fan, obviously, caught number 62 and is probably in church right now praying that there won't be a number 63 or a 64.
Right. I've seen that happen. I mean, I was a guy that spent way too much on the Mark McGwire 70 ball when he set that record. And on the last day, he hit 2 home runs. So the guy caught 69 and got on his hands and knees and clutched his pearls. And then 70 came 2 innings later. So
one more game. We'll see.
That's it. So that guy's waiting way more than anybody else, right?
Totally.
And then in 2001, Barry Bonds hits 72. He already had the record. The ball hits the wall, bounces back. He gets the ball, and then he plays the last game of the season, which was meaningless, and he hit 73. Right? and he doesn't get it. And so I met Barry, and Barry's every time I met him, he'd go, "You give me that ball back, Todd?" I'm like, no, Barry, you had 72. You could have sat out that last game.
Right.
But,
what do you think of the Yankee fan that gave Judge number 61?
Yeah, that's impressive because he was holding a historic ball, and he decided out of the goodness of his heart or peer pressure, right? Never underestimate at the moment peer pressure that he gave it up. Here's what I know. I bought a lot of sort of historic baseballs, and especially during that McGwire run. And I actually ran into some of the people after they sold it, like a couple years later. They all felt like they had lost their puppy, right? Because once you give them some money, they go and spend it. They give some to Uncle Sam. It's gone, whatever. And now all they've got is story. But if you've got it on the mantle, then you can point to it and go, guess what that is, right? And you've got an instant story instead of saying, I used to. Right, that's like saying at a poker game, you won a big pot, right? So what, right? It's been a couple hands later, you don't have the pot anymore. So it's not quite as sexy.
It's Todd McFarlane with us here at Q104.3. This is Jamie, the producer of the morning show at Light FM.
Jamie.
Hey, Miss Jamie, how are you doing today? Thanks for coming in, keeping us company.
And she, when she heard you were coming, she just totally flipped
Super fan.
the blank out.
It's so exciting to meet you. I have so many of your Walking Dead action figures and collectibles that I've been collecting for years. And I have them in my room. And for years, I've been trying to get a hold of Walking Dead Season 2, the Dale RV set.
Oh, yeah.
That you created.
Yeah.
Everything that you create is so lifelike and amazing. And it just brings me such joy. And it's just such an honor to meet you.
Well, Jamie, so here, I've got the inside track on the Walking Dead because, I'm also president of Image Comics, the third largest comic company. A bunch of us quit Marvel years ago. We're celebrating our 30th anniversary. And we've always been like number 3. Everybody knows Marvel, DC, right? But if you say, hey, who's number 3? That's us, Image Comics. We've been there for 30 years. Spawn, my character, came out that same year. But a few years later, this young little kid from Kentucky came in and said, hey, I've got this book. It's about zombies and stuff. And we rejected him, right? We rejected him. We said, no, zombie books, especially black and white zombie books, not going to sell in a superhero. And he kept coming, and we rejected him twice, and then finally came back, smart kid, and said, no, it's not a zombie book. It's actually an alien invasion. You're going to see that it's actually an alien invasion when you uncover by issue number 5. This young guy was named Robert Kirkman, right?
That's who it is in my head.
Right. The creator of The Walking Dead. So we give him the book. He comes up with that. It does gangbusters for us. And then by issue number 4 or 5, we go, hey, Robert, where's the alien stuff? It's not there. And he went, oh, no, Todd, there was never going to be any alien stuff. I just need you guys to sign off on it. It's always going to be a zombie.
Smart guy.
So, and then years later, Robert becomes so loyal to the brand, we make him a partner. So Robert is one of my partners at Image. And when he said, hey, Todd, we're going to be doing a TV show, all right, I grabbed both the comic book rights and the AMC rights. So I'd have both versions of the toys going, you guys don't want to split this, and give it to 2 different people. You want it all sitting in one place. So Robert put in a good word, and I was able to get all the TV. Yeah.
Amazing.
And with Comic-Con coming up, Jamie told me that your autograph sessions, and Comic-Con hasn't even started yet.
Starts on Thursday.
Right.
Yeah,
are already sold out. She said they're already sold out.
Yeah, I'm. It's weird because I was never.
I mean, you're a publisher, you're a director, but you're also a star. Did you ever think you were going to be a star?
Look, I even brought here. Look, we're working on a book, Spawn Batman, right? Batman Spawn book. It will be, unless something goes wrong, it will be the single biggest selling book of the 21st century of our industry.
Wow.
Right? So we're pushing to see if we can hit 1 million copies of it.
Look at that.
But last year, the number one selling comic book was a book that I published, King Spawn, and we sold 500,000 copies. And I keep telling people at DC Warner Brothers, I go, hey, now you're gonna help with Batman, and you're gonna put the best artist, a guy by the name of Greg Capullo, who's known as the preeminent Batman artist, and he did 10 years of Spawn with me on this book. I go, come on, if I can do 500,000 without Batman and Greg, then surely you add those 2 pieces, we can double that number, right? And so that's the goal. But either way, if we can tip over just over 600,000 copies, it will be the single largest selling book in our industry. Marvel, DC, any company, I don't care, since the turn of the century.
Well, when you were a kid, what did you buy and read?
Everything.
Everything?
Everything. Yeah. I mean, but I broke into comic books late. I mean, it's sort of what started all of this, toys and everything. I got into comic books pretty late. Ended up getting a job by fluke. Got fired within 3 months. No, it's true. Well, they canceled the book, so it's like you get fired by there's no book.
Right.
And then as I've said before, you have to catch breaks. And my break, unfortunately, meant that somebody died. And so somebody was on a book, some really tough-looking, great artist, but he worked out in the gym, and he took some unpasteurized milk, had an allergic reaction. By the time they get him to the hospital, he's dead.
Man.
And so the phone rings, and I'd been sending off my samples because I had just got released, and they went, hey, I just lost my artist. You want to come in? Bam. And I've been working nonstop for over 30 years ever since. So you take that first step, and then it leads to all the other options here, right? When I started comic books, I didn't think I was going to be directing music videos and winning Grammy Awards. Like that wasn't there, or making toys. None of that was there. I just wanted to do comic books. That was it. That was my goal, and everything has just sprung from that.
Well, of course, Spawn. Now, there was supposed to be some big Spawn movie news yesterday.
Yeah, we were got delayed
as a matter
till
of fact,
today.
it was Todd McFarlane teases big Spawn movie news, October 4th. And then when I got up this morning, I was at home at 3:30 in the morning looking at my computer. 3:30 in the morning, saying, "Okay, we're going to have Todd McFarlane come in today. Let's see what's going on with this Spawn movie." Yeah. And what do I see?
Delayed till noon today.
Delayed till noon today.
Yes.
So what good does that do us?
We're
looking for Spawn news. You're here largely because you got this big movie thing going on.
I know. It was a sucker play on my part. I just wanted to come see you. It's what they call the proverbial bait and switch. So when you're dealing with a team of people and a lot of things, you got to get a lot of approvals across the board, and something popped up. And it was like, we gotta bump it 24 hours. So wouldn't have been my choice. But
what can you tell us?
Here's what
I mean. Is it done? Is it ready to go?
No. That's not the news. That'd be the next piece of news.
Right.
This news is, if anybody is into sort of Marvel movies and DC movies, we've added some new talent. And so the geeks out there will be very, very excited when they hear the news.
Okay, so
of
that'll
the
be at
names.
noon.
That'll be at noon.
And
So
they'll just lose their minds at noon.
they'll go, who's joining the team? Oh, my God, this is legit. They actually might make this movie, right? So Jamie Foxx has been with it the whole time. And
Right.
he, seems like every 2 weeks he leaves me a message going, come on, man, come on. calls me T. Come on, T. We gotta get going here. Come on, we're gonna blow this thing up here. So, he's still on board. Hasn't wavered and anything. He's sort of hardcore with it. And the next piece of news will be that once we walk in for the sell, that will be the next one. It will be, here's who we sold it to. We've got the money. Here's production date, right?
Okay.
We're gone. We're off to the races. This was just between now and then, just going, guys, I know I keep saying it's coming.
Okay, but the deal is done. You just have to wait till noon to announce it.
For the new talent, right? And then we go into the town and say, we've got this A team, and here's the story. Who wants it? And they've already started making overtures. The studios are going, shoot, I'll take it. Look at if you take out Marvel and DC off the top 100, there's only 3 books left. And oh, by the way, on some months, Spawn is number 1. Last year, the number 1 selling book was Spawn, right? And so, and I came out with 4 new books last year, and they all set some kind of industry record. We're going to do another one here with Batman Spawn. But if you don't want Spawn, Hollywood, then you're going to have to drop to like number 88, and then after that, you're going to have to drop to like 143 because everything else is Marvel and DC, and Warner Brothers and Disney already have those wrapped up. So I keep telling people when I go up on stage, you should be doing comic books because if you can have the 150th best-selling comic book, you're about number 3 to a lot of billion-dollar studios in that city because they can't get Marvel and DC. But Spawn on some months outsells all of them, right? So
Todd McFarlane is with us. You were here with us. You got here about 6:30 in the morning, and you went to a show last night when you came into town?
Yeah, my wife came. She doesn't usually come to these shows. She's not sort of overly impressed with my career. And so, but she goes, it's New York. There's something going to happen later in the weekend with our son. So we decided, but I ended up taking her out. Billy Ocean was playing down at the LPR off Bleecker there.
I love Billy.
And I go, come on, let's just go see him. And it's interesting because you're in the audience and you're expecting everybody to be older, right? Because you're going, he's sort of from our generation.
Well, Billy Ocean's hits were mostly in the 80s.
Yeah. So but there was like all the young kids dancing, and they knew every word, right? Because he put the mic out to the audience a lot, and they were having a good time. So it's always interesting when you see the mixture of sort of the people who lived it the first go around mixed in with people going, why do you even know the words, right? As a matter of fact, it's always curious. Where did you pick up? What were you listening to? Where did you get it from? As they know the words arguably better than we do. So
now you've teamed up with Disney to create toys for
the upcoming Avatar movie. Yeah. So years ago, when the first Avatar movie came out, I went and met James Cameron, and he's a geek. Let me just tell you that I've had the good fortune to meet people like Steven Spielberg and James Cameron, and when you get them away from everybody else and it's just one-on-one, they turn into 10-year-old boys. Right, and I think it's their magic. I think it's really what makes them what they are is that they've never lost that inner boy, right? That inner child that we have a tendency once we know about death and taxes. So I remember he was filming, this weird way of filming that if anybody saw it, you go, where are the actors? And because it was all going to be 3D and it was always going to be Avatar and Pandora. But he was like, Todd, I got a bunch of people here got your toys, and they said if we're going to make some toys, we're gonna make yours. But he didn't have the final say, and so they ended up going with a big public company. Mattel made the toys. I heard through the grapevine he wasn't overly impressed. So come circling back around, and him and his people go get McFarlane back in here. So we actually ended up getting the contract for this movie and the next one, and we just revealed some at their big convention, D23. So, and everybody on Lightstorm, which is James Cameron's company, they're all excited because they're like, man, look, it actually looks like them. That's cool, right? So I'm a stickler for accuracy. People have always said, and I've won awards of, wow, how do you get it so accurate? The answer is always the same. I use a camera, right? And it takes photos. And then we actually make it look like the photos, right? And then people go, oh, my God, and they give you awards, right, which is weird. And so the question isn't, I've always said, you're asking the wrong question. The question isn't, Todd, how do you get it so accurate? All your athletes and all your movie ones. I mean, we had Jamie in here. How do you get it accurate? The question is, how did they not? The camera's been around quite a while. And how did they look at photos and say, nah, we're not going to make it look like that? So anyways, God bless hanging around. I've always said, you want to look smart, hang around dumb people.
Well, the little boy in you, is the little boy in you 10 or 8 or how old?
It can get down to about 5 if you ask my wife. No, I do have an immaturity streak in me, Jim, that can be, I think, trying, especially for my wife, who actually wants an adult and a husband at times. But it's what keeps me going all these years, just to say, I look through the lens of everything as if I was 16, because at some point I was 16 and I was poor. And I had no money, and everything I had to spend, I had to have a reason for it, and I had to get excited about it. And so I keep doing that. Like all these... We've got a bunch of artists doing covers for this Batman Spawn. And I keep saying the same thing to them. Well, what do you want it to look like, Todd? If you get one crack at doing a Spawn Batman cover and then you get hit by a bus, is it a poster, right? If I was a 16-year-old kid, would I want whatever you're about to draw, would I want that up on my wall? And the answer is no. I think you're doing it wrong. You're doing the wrong drawing. Right? You should be sitting there. Come on, every one of you guys was 16 collecting just like I was, and you remember what it's like to look at an image and go, oh my gosh, I wish I had that 10 by 10 on my wall. Do that drawing. I don't know what it is. You were 16. Do that drawing. And I get disappointed sometimes that they can't channel that.
It's Todd McFarlane with us. Okay, Ozzy.
Ozzy Osbourne.
Ozzy. You work with Ozzy.
Yep.
Tell us about that.
Well, years ago, we made the toy of him first, which is my first encounter with him and Sharon. And then you have to get approval. It was interesting because Sharon, at that point, was signing off on what Ozzy looked like. And she was saying, hey, is there any way you could, get rid of a little bit of the gooner on his belly? And can you add some muscles to him and whatever else? And so I was literally, given that we were doing toys, was literally doing plastic surgery on the figure. And when it was done, I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, he looks like a Greek god, right? And it was perfect. I go, wow, he looks good. And Ozzy and I did some promotion for it, and we had a good time with it. I don't know, fast forward, Ozzy's got his new album coming out, Patient 9. And somewhere Sharon and Ozzy must have remembered that I did some stuff with them and had done some other music videos. So the phone rings, and they said, hey, we got this idea. Do you want to jump on board? And so I did the first, literally Patient 9 song. Got to do the music video that had, a lot of animation, a lot of Ozzy, because again, Ozzy's health, he wasn't going to be able to do a full sort of music video at that time. So we had to sort of be clever of how we could get through it. And it worked. And like I've told people before, all musicians that I've dealt with are fascinating creatures in that the moment the lights go on, bam, they're pros, right? I mean, I don't care what mood they're in. They might not even be good interviews, right? They don't even want to come, but you put them on stage and you turn on the lights and they turn into a different human being. And so Ozzy, no matter what is going on, no matter what his health is, no matter what's happening, the moment when I was directing him, I gave him a bunch of direction. I didn't know that he even heard me because he was like, we're doing that today? Yeah, today, Ozzy. And then I go, action. And he hit every mark at every time I said. He looked in every direction. And I just go, the guy, I mean, he's doing it. He's just saving it for when it matters. And he doesn't spend any other calories unless it's like when he needs to be on.
Well, it's Todd McFarlane at Comic-Con. You're in town for that.
Yeah. For Thursday through Sunday, the big New York show, which is the biggest in the nation.
And we'll be looking for Spawn news around noon.
Noon.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. We couldn't be talking about that, but yeah.
Well,
it would've been-
you gave us some clues.
Yeah.
We got some clues. And we thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, Jim,
here
thanks
at
for having me.
4.3.
New York's classic rock, Q1043.